Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt stuck even though you knew exactly what you needed to do? You had the plan, the strategy, the goals, but somehow you couldn't pull the trigger. You waited and waited until motivation showed up or the timing was right. But what if I told you this? Taking immediate action is the key to everything you want in life. Today, we're diving deep into Immediate Action by Thibaut Meurisse, a powerful book that will help you break through resistance, kill procrastination, and finally get things done. So sit back, open your mind, and let's go face to face with the thoughts that are holding you back. Chapter 1. Why you must act now, not later. Let's begin with this simple truth. You don't need more motivation, you need momentum. Here's something Thibaut says that might shock you. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for a train that will never arrive. Think about that. How often have you delayed an important task just because you didn't feel ready? The problem isn't your energy, it's your habit of waiting. We live in a world where people spend more time preparing than doing. But real growth, it only happens when you act immediately. So let me ask you this, what have you been putting off that you could take action on today? Right now, even a small step? That's the idea. Immediate action doesn't mean giant leaps. It means doing something, anything, that pushes the needle forward. Chapter 2. Overthinking kills progress. Raise your hand if you've ever been caught in an endless loop of thinking. Yeah, we've all been there. You had an idea. You imagined all the steps. You pictured success. But instead of acting, you kept thinking. That's what Thibaut calls mental noise. It's that voice in your head that says, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? And just like that, the dream dies before it even begins. But here's the secret. Action silences doubt. Let that sink in. You don't overcome fear by thinking. You overcome it by doing. So, the next time your brain starts spinning in circles, pause, then ask, what's one small thing I can do right now? Not tomorrow, not when you're ready, now. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Resistance. Let's talk about resistance. Why is it so hard to do the things we say we want? Here's the truth. Your brain is not wired for success, it's wired for survival. That means your brain will always choose comfort over growth. Every time you try to break a pattern, whether it's waking up early, starting a business, or working out, your brain sees it as a threat, but guess what? You can rewire it, you can train it. How? Through consistent, immediate action. Thibaut explains this beautifully. Each time you take action in spite of fear, you weaken the resistance. So think of your willpower like a muscle. Every action is a rep. The more you act, the stronger you get. Chapter 4. Stop waiting for clarity. Let me be real with you. Most people don't move forward because they want a perfect plan first. They want clarity, certainty, a guarantee of success. But clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Think of it like this. You can't steer a parked car, even if you're unsure of the direction. Once you start moving, clarity follows. Here's a powerful question from Thibaut. What would I do if I already knew the answer? Try it. It shifts your mindset from hesitation to execution. And remember, you can always adjust your course, but you can't fix a life that never started moving. Chapter 5. Build the action habit. So now you're thinking, okay, I get it, but how do I make immediate action a daily habit? Great question. Thibaut gives us a simple, powerful strategy called micro-commitments. It goes like this. Instead of saying, I'll write a book, you say, I'll write 50 words today. Instead of, I'll run a marathon, you say, I'll walk around the block. These tiny actions lower resistance and make momentum easy. Because here's the magic. Once you start, you often keep going. The hardest part is getting started. But once you're in motion, your brain wants to stay in motion. So build the habit of doing one tiny thing immediately. And let the magic of momentum do the rest. Chapter 6. Set process goals, not just outcome goals. Let's face it, we all love setting goals like, I want to lose 10 kilos. I want 1 lakh subscribers. I want to make 1 crore this year. But these are outcome goals. They depend on external factors, timing, people, circumstances. What Thibaut suggests instead is focusing on process goals. So instead of, I want 1 lakh subscribers, say, I'll publish 3 videos per week. Why? Because you control the process, and consistent process leads to powerful results. Ask yourself, what can I control today? What action can I take right now? That's how you stay in power. That's how you win. Chapter 7. Eliminate distractions ruthlessly. Let's be honest, most of us don't have a motivation problem. We have a distraction problem. You sit down to work and boom, notifications, emails, reels, random thoughts, and before you know it, 2 hours are gone. So what do? You create an action-friendly environment. Thibaut says, your environment must support your action or it will sabotage it. Start small. Turn off notifications. Use airplane mode for 30 minutes. Keep your workspace clean. Set a timer and do focused sprints. Remember, it's not just about willpower, it's about design. Design your day to support action. Chapter 8. Use self-talk to drive action. Do you know what the most powerful voice in your life is? It's not your parents, not your boss. It's your own voice, the one inside your head. That voice decides if you act or procrastinate. Thibaut teaches us to flip the script instead of saying, I'll do it later. I'm too tired. I'm not good enough. Train yourself to say, I'll do it now. This is who I am. Action creates results. It might feel fake at first, but the brain listens to repetition. What you say, you become. So be intentional. Speak like someone who takes action. Because guess what? You are that person. Chapter 9. When it feels hard, you're growing. Here's a big mindset shift. Most people run away from discomfort, but high performers? They lean into it. Why? Because they know this. Discomfort is a signal of growth, not danger. Let's say you're scared to launch your product, or to speak up, or to take that risk. That fear, that tightness in your chest, it means you're about to grow. Thibaut says, what feels uncomfortable today will feel natural tomorrow if you act. So next time it feels hard, smile. It means you're doing something right. Chapter 10. Close the gap between idea and action. Here's where everything comes together. The final principle of the book is simple. Shorten the time between your idea and your action. Don't overthink. Don't wait for approval. Don't ask for 10 opinions. If you have an idea, move. Thibaut calls this the immediacy mindset. Act fast, learn fast, adjust fast. Let me ask you this. What's one thing you've been thinking about for too long? Can you do something about it in the next 10 minutes, even something small? If yes, then stop the video after this sentence and go do it. That's the whole point. All right, if you're listening to this, that means you're serious about change. You're not just someone who collects motivational content. You're becoming someone who acts. Let's go a step deeper. Let's sharpen your mindset. Let's make you someone who doesn't just take action once, but lives in action mode. 1. Action beats perfection every time. Let me ask you, have you ever held back from doing something because you wanted it to be perfect? Maybe you wanted your first YouTube video to be flawless, or your business idea to be fully refined, or your blog post to be just right. But guess what? Perfection is the enemy of execution. Thibaut reminds us, perfection is procrastination in disguise. Every minute you spend obsessing over details is a minute you're not creating results. So here's a better rule. Done is better than perfect. Think about it. You can always improve later. But if you never start, you'll never have anything to improve. Action creates feedback. Feedback creates progress. Progress creates mastery. So stop waiting. Start publishing. Start launching. Start speaking. And watch how quickly things evolve. 2. Life rewards the doers, not the thinkers. Let's be blunt. The world doesn't reward what you know. It rewards what you do with what you know. There are smart people everywhere who are stuck, and there are average people winning simply because they take action. Thibaut calls this the execution advantage, and it's real. Let me ask you, are you consuming more than you're producing? If yes, pause today. Choose to produce. Create a bias toward doing. You don't need more information, you need more implementation. 3. Stack small wins to build an unstoppable mindset. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you earn. How? By doing what you said you would do. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you're casting a vote for your future self. You're saying, I'm the kind of person who follows through. And every time you act, you stack another win. These wins build your identity. You go from, I hope I can do this, to, I know I can handle anything. So instead of chasing a breakthrough, start stacking small wins today. Woke up early. That's a win. Made that call? Another win. Said no to distraction? Big win. Your confidence doesn't come from results, it comes from the reps. 4. Clarity comes from action, not thinking. This one's important. A lot of people say, I'm not sure what my passion is, or I don't know which path to take, so they wait and think and journal and overthink some more. But the answer isn't in your head, it's in your hands. Thibaut puts it this way, action creates clarity. You can't figure everything out by thinking. You figure it out by doing. Try, fail, adjust, learn. So instead of trying to plan your entire future, try something small. Start a blog, launch a product, join a new group, build a 1-minute prototype. You'll learn more in 1 hour of action than 100 hours of thinking. 5. Fear is a compass. Here's a radical idea. What if the things you fear the most are actually pointing you in the right direction? Let's be real. You're not scared of danger. You're scared of growth. You're not afraid to fail. You're afraid to be seen failing. But here's where action changes the game. Thibaut says, fear is a signal of opportunity. If something scares you, but also excites you, go toward it. Post the video, ask for the sale, pitch the idea, book the flight, say what you really think, because behind that fear is a version of you that's more alive than ever. 6. Commit to daily action. Let's simplify everything into one golden rule. Do one thing every day that moves you forward. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to be done. Thibaut calls this the non-negotiable action rule. Even on your worst days, you do something. That something keeps the momentum alive. And momentum, my friend, is everything. So build your own action ritual. Morning, one deep work task before distractions. Evening, one reflection or learning note. Midday, one action outside your comfort zone. The point is consistency. Not perfection, not pressure, just movement. 7. Your identity shifts when you act. You might still think, but I'm just not an action taker by nature. Let me challenge that. You become who you practice being. If you take action today, even in a small way, you've started becoming a person who acts. That's identity shift. Thibaut puts it clearly. You don't act because of who you are. You become who you are because of how you act. So if you want to be bold, start acting bold. If you want to be disciplined, take disciplined action. If you want to be confident, speak like it, walk like it, act like it. You don't fake it, you practice it, and with repetition, it becomes real. Let me leave you with this. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't time, isn't resources, isn't talent. It's action. Every dream in your heart is on the other side of a few uncomfortable steps. You already know what to do. Now it's your turn to move. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the right mood. Take immediate action. Right here. Right now. Even if it's small. Even if it's messy. Even if you're scared. Because you know what? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Thanks for listening to this summary of immediate action by Thibaut Meurisse, brought to you by Bookshelf 24. If this inspired you, take action right now. Comment your next move. Share this with a friend who needs a push. And don't forget, action isn't optional if growth is your goal. Until next time, stay bold, stay moving, and keep becoming the person who does.